Right now, racism, sexism, and a whole lot of hot mess. We've got a big show coming your way. The chat starts now.
Welcome to the chat. I'm Tony Fox. We have Henny Angelia and Dr. Jeffrey Ann Wilder sitting in as our guest host. How are you?
Welcome.
I'm great.
Yeah?
Glad to have you as a co-host today.
I know. Are you ready to do this?
Well, we ready.
It is a big challenge. I think you can do it. I think you can. All right, we're going to get started talking about sneaker mogul. Well, I'm going to call him alleged sneaker mogul, LeVar Ball, taking heat after an exchange with Fox Sports host Kristine Leahy. LeVar is the owner of sportswear company Big Baller Brands and father of top NBA prospect Lonzo Ball. He was on with Colin Cowherd of Fox Sports 1 talking about his footwear sales when he got into this exchange with Leahy.
Like I said, there's different amounts.
How many?
Stay in your lane. Anyways,
I'm just curious.
I don't even worry about her over there.
So she's a reporter. Her job is to probe.
She can report to whoever she wants behind her. I'm talking to you, Colin.
Well, what is your problem with me?
Hey, my problem is you are a hater.
Why am
I would
a hater?
never wear a Big Baller shirt. But
no,
good.
I didn't
Don't
say
even
that.
talk to Big Baller. I heard you say it. I'm not even worried about it.
I said that I wouldn't wear something that
It
as
says
a woman.
Big Baller. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
With all due respect, you're a great reporter, just not reporting on me. I never disrespect women. But I tell you what, if you act like that, guess what? Something's coming to you.
Oh.
And it's okay.
Do you think?
Are you threatening me?
Oh, see how she tried to turn the words? I would never threaten you.
You said something's coming to me.
I don't know what it is. I'm not a psychic.
Wow, sounds like a threat to me.
Whoa.
Well, several sports journalists have condemned Ball's behavior, calling it completely disrespectful. All right, here's the deal. I heard the show in which she talked about this. The show is The Herd with Colin Cowherd. It airs on our sister station every day from noon to 3. LeVar Ball is a big blowhard. I can't believe he gets anytime anywhere, including on this show, but whatever. His son, in case you don't know, is a top prospect, plays for UCLA. He's expected to go number 2 to the Lakers, but he may not because his father is such a blowhard that it could affect his draft prospects. But we digress. Let me talk about what happened. So, what happened on the Colin Cowherd show? Kristine Leahy was talking about the brand and the t-shirt. And the t-shirt says Big Baller. And she simply said that she wouldn't wear that shirt because she thinks it's tacky. As a woman, she wouldn't wear a shirt that says Big Baller. She didn't say anything else. Now, she did proceed to say, I just think if you have a brand, you should have products, market some to women. And listen, sports companies have gotten on the stick when it comes to marketing to women. That's why every team has pink jerseys, right? That's all she said. She didn't get nasty about it. She just said, I wouldn't wear it. That was a threat. He was so disrespectful to her. He wouldn't even look at her. If I was doing my radio show in the morning, there are 3 of us, and if somebody came in and did an interview and wouldn't look at one of us, if they didn't look at me, I would hope that John or Robbie or both would say, you know what, she exists, she's a co-host, she's on this show. If you don't want to do this interview talking to her, then we're done with you. I would hope that I would do that if somebody did that to them. Colin Cowherd, I think, should have, stuck up for her a little more. Kristine Leahy went on yesterday and did this wonderful statement about, I have no problem debating if we disagree, as long as it's respectful, and they do that on that show, and they are very respectful. LeVar Ball isn't respectful to anybody at all. I mean, he may not disrespect women. He doesn't respect anybody, is what he is. But to do what he did, not looking at her and saying, something's coming to you, it is a threat. And he is just a lowlife, and he shouldn't get any more time anywhere.
But not only that, I mean, you said he has offspring that's possibly going to UCLA.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yes.
Is when you're a father and you're misbehaving this way, because you are misbehaving. You are teaching your son, who is next in line, to follow in your footsteps and to become a jerk. And so, I mean, you can't do that in the light that they are in.
He hasn't even drafted yet.
I know.
And there really is talk that this could hurt his prospects. Now, he may be a big enough star that it won't. One of those things, you just take the good with the bad because he's that talented. But they are speculating this could hurt him. I mean, this guy is just... And I heard what she said on that show.
Hopefully he takes his personality after his mom, and his mom is sweet and kind.
hopefully he does.
I had never heard of this guy until this happened. I don't even know who he is.
In the sports world, if you follow basketball, you know. That's why I was explaining.
But just from watching the video, that was completely disrespectful to her as a woman, to her as a co-host. She was doing her job. To me, it seems as though he could not take the pressure of her asking questions that he did not have an answer for. She was asking him, one of the questions was, how many pair did you sell?
And she didn't say it like that. He's talking about it, and she goes, well, he's like, we've sold a ton, and she goes, well, how many? And he's like, I'm not, let's state in your name.
That's because we know the sales of those shoes, which are completely overpriced.
$500.
Yes. He's only sold a little over 300 pair. So he was embarrassed, and he was a little embarrassed to say that. So sometimes when you approach a person, whether it's a man or a woman, and they feel like their pride gets in the way, they're a little embarrassed, he didn't want to come back with an answer, so he threw his wall up. And this is the behavior that he did. I don't condone it, I don't like it. And I think he's just a big, loudmouth, cocky person.
Immature
that needs to get over himself. Get over yourself.
Immature or disrespectful.
He is, absolutely. And she handled it with grace. I will say that about Christine Leahy. The statement she made, how she handled herself that moment was just wonderful.
Well, the thing is, you know, it's not just Lonzo. He has 3 sons that he expects to go to the NBA, and he projects this big baller brand to be worth $1 billion.
$3 billion.
I believe $3 billion. Exactly.
Get it straight.
Exactly.
$3 billion.
Yeah, seriously, because it's ridiculous.
Not now.
Well, each son is supposed to be worth $1 billion apiece. So the problem is that, you know, he is really going to, you know, as you all have said before, really stand in the way of his sons being able to advance, because this guy, I mean, Charles Barkley, he already got into it with Charles Barkley a few weeks ago. He's going to pretty much, you know, end Lonzo's career before it even starts.
As my mama used to say, he's letting his mouth write a check that his beep can't cash.
Well, maybe his son can cash it. We don't know. But I just was disgusted with how he acted. And I thought Colin Cowherd, he did not stand up for her like he should have. But, you know, that's on him. Whatever.
Okay, we're going to have to leave that one there. And as you may have heard today, former Fox News CEO Roger Ailes has passed away. His death comes just days before former Fox News anchor, Gretchen Carlson gave comments about the sexual assault claims that she had made against him. At a recent event, Carlson said that she doesn't think it's always in the person's best interest to report inappropriate behavior such as sexual assault to their human resources department. Instead, she kind of explained that because companies pay the paycheck of HR officers, that new reporting mechanisms needs to be in place. So, of course, a lot of people are replying, and some agree, some disagree. I do agree 100%.
With Gretchen?
Absolutely. I do agree with Gretchen for sure. I think there's such a high number of women and men, we can't forget about men, because they're subjected to that as well, to sexual assault, discrimination rather. And you kind of have to be careful with it, because always remember, HR works for the company. They don't work for you. So you got to be careful what you go to them with, because at the same time, there's been a lot of people that has actually went to HR, filed these complaints, and either nothing has happened or they were terminated for something other than, but we all know what that really means.
Well, HR does work for you as an employee, but ultimately they
maybe this much.
But I'm just saying they do. I mean, they are there for the entire company, but they are there for the main parent company. Absolutely.
For the parent company, for sure.
Totally and completely agree with that. But with Gretchen, what she's doing, I love this, because I think there's so many of us, and myself included, that don't know really what HR is representing, and that they could take possibly the company's side rather than yours.
Absolutely.
So when you go to them with a problem, and she brought up something that was really valid. There's something that she was saying, that there's an arbitration clause that we all sign. We sign that when we rent a movie. We sign that whenever we are signing up for a cell phone, company. We sign that in so many circumstances that we really don't know. We may just check the box or just move on. Did you read the clause? Yeah, move on, check, so that you get that contract taken care of and in order. And so when you sign that arbitration clause, that forced arbitration clause, you're signing your life away, basically. You're saying...
Well, you're agreeing to go to arbitration, no lawsuits.
Forced arbitration, and you're saying no one will hear you. No jury will hear you. And I think that is really important when it comes to women, because we do want to be heard as women, but especially if there's any kind of discrimination that we actually, encounter. So I think that's really important.
But you can always sue. You know how Janet always says, you sign those things, and you can always... And I'll tell you, this is the reason, because of that HR department being... Yes, they do represent employees, but they really, really represent the company. That's why they have these confidential 800 lines. Because there have been things that I've seen in the workplace that happen, and well, isn't HR telling that to corporate? Because that seems pretty bad. So shouldn't you do that? Where I'm like, well, if that happened to me, I'd be calling that 1-800 number. And I don't blame anybody for wanting to call a confidential number of somebody outside. Even that, though, is with the company. I know. And it's still with the company and company-based. But
absolutely. They still work for the company.
Right. And that's a lot of the reason women don't speak up in the workplace.
You know, there was actually a study done by Aware.com, and it was with 500 people and 92 companies, and they found that 54% of people had experienced some form of workplace sexual harassment. 27% of those were women and 17% were men. So that's still a large number. So like we said, we just kind of have to be careful. 12% received threats of termination if they did not comply with the request of their sexual harassers. So these are just some numbers to kind of show how you have to be careful what you are going to HR to report, because you can definitely fall into that number.
Well, and I really think it's important. My first experience with this, I was 17 years old, and I reported my experience with being sexually harassed, and my general manager did nothing. So I think that
happens a lot.
Gretchen is doing a really good thing by having this conversation to put external sort of accountability measures in place so people have someone to go to outside of their workplace.
I totally
agree. You should never be afraid to report it, but unfortunately that's the way
it happens a lot, way too much.
Absolutely. All right, well, parents and students at a Massachusetts high school are calling a dress code rule discriminatory, targeting students of color. 15-year-old twins Maya and Deanna Cook got their braid extensions over spring break, but the regional charter school that they go to bans extensions and braids. But the students say other students have also worn extensions. White students have had their hair dyed, which is also a violation, but they say those teens weren't disciplined. The twins have been taken out of school activities, put in detention, and they were banned from prom. They've met with administrators and say they plan to keep their hairstyles to try to teach the school a lesson on cultural sensitivity. They also, if I'm not correct, reached out to their congressperson, and who actually is on the side of the girls. And they've tried to talk to administrators. And what I got out of it, it seemed like the school is like, that's our rule, that's what it is, and done deal, done.
The school needs a new policy. I have braided extensions in my hair right now.
And they look beautiful, honey.
Well, thank you. And I love them. I love wearing my hair in braids. It's a cultural thing. It's something that I've always, done since I was a little girl. And to think that I would fear losing my job because of it is absolutely, completely ridiculous. This school needs
What about the school's argument, though, that you don't need those braids, you don't need extensions?
Well, I have a problem with the reasoning why.
Okay.
Right? So what's wrong? There's nothing in the braids or the extensions that makes it problematic. It's not harmful to anyone else. It's not impeding upon anyone else's safety or anything like that. This is just a way in which these girls decided they wanted to wear their hair. It's just it's a piece of self-expression. And the school needs to go back and look into history, because in 1981, the Rogers v. American Airlines case, a woman sued American Airlines because she had cornrows in her hair. Then we saw the same thing just a few years ago with the U.S. military, with the Army. Then just last year in South Africa, a school banned the girls from wearing their hair natural. This is a systematic problem that we see over and over, and it needs to stop.
But in the policy that they had, it wasn't just simply braids.
Right.
So it wasn't just, I don't think, narrowing it down to African Americans who are braiding their hair and putting in, hair. I don't have a problem with that. But what they did do is they took away all artistic capability of any child, because it was K through 12, this charter school is. And so this school actually said no hair color, no distractions, no shaved lines. So that was
hair streaking.
No hair streaking.
Which could be just
no
highlights,
pink hair, nothing. So that covers all bases. That's not just African Americans. That's white girls that have the pink the stripes in their hair, because that was a trend for a while. So I think across the board they were really laying the law down. But with that being said, I went back on Facebook, and just their Facebook page alone over the last couple of months showed numerous children that had all of these rules broken.
Including a star football player.
There was the star football player. There's cute little kids here. Look at the little boy on the right with his curly hair that's long. Look at the little girl with her hair on the right-hand side who has it, you know, just all over, which is gorgeous. And then look at the girl who has braids, and she has the, you know, the little beads on there. And then this is one of the star players here, the basketball team, 2 of them. And the one in the back, they were saying couldn't have hair raised more than 2 inches. Well, what if someone has an afro? What if someone has God-given hair that's just beautiful, which I do not have, and I would love to have it teased to high heaven, and I would love to go to school, but to go to this charter school, you're not allowed.
And they're not listening. That's what gets me.
Like.
The school administration isn't even listening, and that's what I don't like. You know what? You believe in your rules, whatever they are, that's fine. But now we have a situation, and you even have a congressperson who's like, whoa, and you're not even willing to listen. I think that is the sign of a bad leader. You know what? I'm not saying you can't stick to your rules. I don't know what you decide. But what I'm saying is, if a problem is presented, at least be open to listening. Be open to listening. Maybe we have to change. Maybe in the end they won't change it. I don't know. But at least be open to it for Pete's sake.
I thought this, I have to go back and find out when this school opened, because I'm thinking these rules that they have is like 1920s. However, I was really surprised to see that it was founded in 1998. So that's not that long ago. There's a little over 1,500 students enrolled, and the school is actually over 17% African American, which is a low number, but considering that area, that is pretty high. Now, the mother, Mrs. Cook, she actually called in, which I didn't even know this existed, the Anti-Defamation League, which is a nonprofit organization, and they're going to be at they have a meeting scheduled with the administrators of that school tomorrow. So there will be way more to come on this story, as it should be, because this is just not right. And when they mention about adding hair and the braids, you know that's aimed at black folk.
Completely.
But what was really interesting, though, did you see the parents are Caucasian? Right? Did you see the photo?
Are adopted.
So these parents are Caucasian. So, but when you initially read that story, you think, oh, okay, it's a black family that's going after. This was Caucasian parents, mother and father, raising 2 adopted African American children.
It's a total of 4 of them. But yes, the kids are African American and the parents are white. So it's a little different.
I think that's interesting. It's very interesting.
All right. Well, after the break, it's the story that has been making headlines regarding Bethune-Cookman University and Betsy DeVos. We're going to chat with the granddaughter of the founder of that university to see what her family thinks of this situation. That happens when we come back.